Samoa isn't just another tropical island. It's a place where tradition shapes every corner of daily life, and every village has a story the world hasn't heard. In today's video, you'll learn 16 eye-opening facts that prove just how extraordinary this place truly is. From volcanic giants and ancient languages to third genders and skipped calendar days, it's all real, all fascinating, and all fact-checked. This is not some fantasy travel vlog. This is the real Samoa, explored with depth and respect. You're watching Andy Explores the World, and it's time to discover what makes Samoa unforgettable. This video was created with limited visual material available from Samoa, so some footage has been substituted with relevant illustrations and imagery. I've done my best to bring these facts to life as accurately and respectfully as possible. Thank you for understanding, and I hope you enjoy the journey. Fact 1. The day that never existed. In a move that stunned the world in December of 2011, Samoa made the bold decision to skip an entire calendar day. At the stroke of midnight on December 29th, the country jumped directly to December 31st, completely erasing December 30th from existence. This shift moved Samoa to the west of the international dateline, bringing it in line with key trading partners like Australia and New Zealand. Before the change, Samoa was nearly a full day behind these countries, making business communication frustrating and inefficient. The decision was primarily economic, not symbolic. Now, Samoa shares business days with neighbors instead of losing time every week to time zone differences. This historic adjustment placed Samoa among the few nations to ever alter the calendar so radically. Tourists and residents alike witnessed time travel without needing a flux capacitor. Hotels had to refund guests for a night that literally never happened. It was a powerful example of how time is a man-made construct, and that countries can reshape it when necessary. Fact 2. Switching sides, the Great Driving Shift. In September of 2009, Samoa executed one of the most daring traffic overhauls in modern history. The country switched from driving on the right-hand side of the road to the left-hand side. This made Samoa the first nation in nearly 4 decades to make such a change. The motivation was purely practical. Most imported vehicles came from Australia and New Zealand, where right-hand drive cars are the standard. By aligning traffic rules with these regional partners, Samoa enabled cheaper access to used vehicles, reducing the national dependence on expensive American or European imports. At exactly 6 o'clock in the morning on September 7th, police stopped traffic nationwide, and after a brief national prayer, drivers carefully crossed over to the other side. Roads were temporarily closed, road signs reversed, and massive public education campaigns were rolled out months in advance. Some citizens protested, worried about increased accidents or confusion, but the switch went ahead with few serious issues. Today, the legacy of that morning remains one of the most striking examples of national coordination and regional pragmatism in Pacific history. Fact 3. Samoa, the NFL's unlikely goldmine. Despite its tiny population, American Samoa has become one of the most surprising talent factories for the National Football League. With only around 65,000 residents, the territory has produced over 30 NFL players, a rate unmatched anywhere else on Earth. Statistically, a Samoan male is said to be several dozen times more likely to play in the NFL than a boy growing up in the mainland United States. This staggering success is often linked to the island's deep-rooted culture of discipline, strength, and community. Football is more than a sport here. It's a potential ticket to college scholarships, financial security, and international recognition. Young athletes grow up training on makeshift fields, often barefoot, but with incredible intensity. Coaches from top American high schools and colleges regularly scout Samoan players for their physicality and humility. Families, churches, and schools all support athletic dreams, viewing sports as a noble pursuit. Even though resources are limited, raw talent thrives. In the Pacific Ocean, on a remote dot of land, a sporting miracle continues to unfold, one touchdown at a time. Fact 4. The sacred ink of Samoa. The word tattoo originates from the Polynesian word tatau, and no place honors this tradition more profoundly than Samoa. Here, tattooing is not body art, it's a sacred rite of passage. For over 2,000 years, Samoans have practiced hand-tapped tattooing using sharp combs made from bone or tusk, dipped in soot-based ink. The male tattoo, known as pea, covers the body from waist to knees in intricate geometric patterns, while the female version, malu, is more delicate and symbolic, often spanning the thighs. The process can take days and is incredibly painful, but enduring it is a badge of courage, resilience, and cultural pride. Tattooing is typically performed by tufuga tatatao, highly respected master tattooists, whose knowledge is passed down through generations. These tattoos aren't just personal. They represent family lineage, social status, and service to the community. Unlike modern Western tattoos, the Samoan tatau demands silence, ceremony, and commitment. It is identity, heritage, and spirituality etched into skin. To carry a pea is to wear history. Fact 5. Fa'afafine, Samoa's third gender. In Samoa, gender is not seen as strictly binary. For centuries, Samoan society has recognized a third gender known as fa'afafine, which translates to in the manner of a woman. Fa'afafine are individuals who are born biologically male but embody both masculine and feminine traits in ways that are culturally specific, not simply Western interpretations of gender identity. They are accepted, even respected in most Samoan families and communities. Fa'afafine often take on caregiving roles, contribute to family life, and are deeply involved in church and village events. Their presence is not only normalized, but often embraced as part of traditional Samoan social structure. Unlike in many Western societies, this gender identity is not politicized. It's just a natural part of life. While not all fa'afafine identify as transgender, many express themselves through traditionally feminine dress and behavior. They may also form close social and romantic relationships according to their own identities. Samoa's cultural framework allows this third gender to thrive without the stigma or marginalization seen elsewhere. It's a rare case where tradition has long made room for diversity. Fact 6. Cooking with stones, the art of the umu. In Samoa, cooking is more than a daily chore. It's a ceremonial ritual rooted in community and tradition. One of the most iconic elements of Samoan life is the umu, an above-ground earth oven made of heated volcanic stones. Unlike underground pits used in other Polynesian cultures, the Samoan umu is built directly on the surface. Foods such as breadfruit, taro, bananas, fish, and whole pigs are wrapped in banana leaves and placed on the scorching rocks. The oven is then covered with more leaves and mats to trap the heat, allowing the meal to cook slowly over several hours. The result is a smoky, tender feast infused with earthy aromas. Preparing an umu typically involves the whole family. Men prepare the fire and food, while women handle wrapping and presentation. Meals cooked this way are reserved for Sundays, holidays, or important gatherings. There are no thermometers, timers, or fancy appliances. Just fire, stone, and ancestral skill. In a world of fast food and microwave meals, the umu stands as a beautiful reminder. Food is connection, and cooking is culture. Fact 7. Savai, the sleeping giant of Polynesia. Savai, the largest island in Samoa, is a volcanic colossus cloaked in mystery and natural beauty. Spanning over 650 square miles, it's one of the biggest land masses in all of Polynesia, yet remains largely untouched by mass tourism. Towering at its center is Mount Silisili, Samoa's highest peak, rising more than 6,000 feet above sea level. The name literally means highest, and the summit offers breathtaking views over dense rainforests, lava fields, and traditional villages that still live by the rhythms of ancient life. Much of the island is covered in virgin jungle and black volcanic soil. The last major eruption occurred in the early 20th century, leaving behind stark lava flows that now serve as haunting, silent landmarks. Savai is home to only a fraction of Samoa's population, making it a retreat into the slower, ancestral way of living. There are no cities, no flashing lights, no concrete jungles, just a primal landscape where Earth still feels raw. For those who seek the roots of Polynesia, Savai is more than an island. It's a living volcano wrapped in green. Fact 8. Bats rule the land. In Samoa, The skies are home to the island's most dominant native mammals, bats. Surprisingly, apart from these flying creatures, there are no native land mammals in the entire Samoan archipelago. You won't find wild rodents, monkeys, or predatory beasts roaming the jungle. Instead, 3 species of bats, 2 of which are fruit bats, also called flying foxes, are the only naturally occurring mammals. These fruit bats are massive, with wingspans reaching over 3 feet, and they play a crucial role in pollinating plants and spreading seeds across the forests. During the day, they hang upside down in large groups from trees, and at dusk, they soar silently through the warm island air. Samoans don't see them as pests. In fact, in traditional stories, they're often revered and even associated with chiefs and gods. While Westerners may find their appearance a bit unsettling, locals view them as a normal part of daily life. On islands where wildlife is limited and precious, bats aren't just tolerated. They're respected as ecological guardians of Samoa's Green Kingdom. Fact 9. Robert Louis Stevenson's Final Paradise. The legendary Scottish author Robert Louis Stevenson, best known for Treasure Island and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, chose Samoa as his final home. In the late 1880s, suffering from chronic health issues, he sailed across the Pacific in search of a better climate. He arrived in Samoa in 1889 and instantly fell in love with the land and its people. Stevenson bought land on the slopes of Mount Vaea near Apia, built a colonial-style estate called Vailima, and immersed himself in Samoan life. Locals admired his humility and advocacy for their rights during colonial disputes. They gave him the name Tusitala, meaning teller of tales, and welcomed him as one of their own. When he died in 1894 at the age of 44, Samoans carried his body by hand up the mountain and buried him at the summit. His grave overlooks the sea, inscribed with his own poetic epitaph. Today, his home is a museum, and his legacy still echoes across the island. Few authors are loved abroad as deeply as Stevenson is in Samoa, where a storyteller became a legend. Fact 10. Samoa's first female prime minister. In 2021, Samoa witnessed a dramatic and historic political shift. After nearly 4 decades of single-party dominance, Fiam Naomi Mataafa became the nation's first female prime minister. Her rise was not smooth. It followed a fiercely contested election, a constitutional standoff, and even a symbolic swearing-in ceremony held under a tent outside a locked parliament. Despite the tension, her leadership was eventually upheld by the Supreme Court, and she officially took office. Fiame comes from a family with deep political roots. Her father was Samoa's first prime minister after independence. But she carved her own path, gaining respect for her intellect, calm demeanor, and reformist agenda. Her victory was also a milestone for the Pacific region, where women rarely hold top national leadership positions. Fiame pledged to strengthen democratic institutions, protect Samoan sovereignty, and address climate change, a critical threat to island nations. Her leadership marked a generational change and a bold step toward greater political inclusivity. In a culture that honors both tradition and strength, her election showed that Samoan politics could evolve, gracefully and powerfully. Fact 11. The first independent Polynesian nation. On January 1st, 1962, Samoa, then known as Western Samoa, became the first independent nation in Polynesia. After decades under New Zealand's administration, and prior to that German and British colonial rule, Samoa took control of its own destiny. The moment marked a major turning point for the entire Pacific region. No other island group in Polynesia had yet achieved sovereignty, making Samoa a true political pioneer. Its path to independence was driven by a peaceful movement rooted in traditional customs and diplomacy, not revolution. When the moment arrived, Samoa kept close ties with New Zealand, but stood proudly as a self-governed state. The country adopted its own constitution, flag, and leadership, drawing heavily from Samoan matai, chiefly systems. Independence Day is still celebrated each year with immense pride, combining Christian prayers, traditional dances, and speeches in both Samoan and English. For many, this day represents more than a break from colonial rule. It symbolizes the resilience of an ancient culture that chose its future without violence and with deep respect for identity, dignity, and peace. Fact 12. The voice of Polynesia. The Samoan language, known as Gagana Samoa, is the most widely spoken Polynesian language in the world. With around 500,000 speakers globally, it reaches far beyond the shores of the islands. While Samoa itself has a population of fewer than 200,000, the language thrives in large diaspora communities in New Zealand, Australia, Hawaii, and the mainland United States. It is one of Samoa's 2 official languages, alongside English, and is taught in schools and spoken in government, churches, and households. The structure of Gagana Samoa is both poetic and formal, deeply intertwined with Samoan respect culture, or Fa'a Samoa. Words change depending on whom you're speaking to, elders, chiefs, or peers, highlighting social hierarchy and courtesy. Many Samoans grow up bilingual, switching between English and Samoan with ease. In Auckland, New Zealand, Samoan is even the 3rd most spoken language after English and Maori. Despite globalization, efforts to preserve Gagana Samoa are strong, with language weeks, school programs, and cultural centers promoting its use. It remains a living bridge between tradition and identity, spoken with pride across oceans. Fact 13, a nation of faith. Samoa is one of the most devoutly Christian countries on Earth. Over 98% of the population identifies with Christianity, and religious life is deeply woven into the national identity. In 2017, the Constitution was officially amended to declare Samoa a Christian nation, elevating what was already a cultural truth into legal language. Almost every village has at least one church, often the most beautiful and centrally located building, ranging from small wooden chapels to grand cathedrals. Sundays are sacred. Most businesses close, the streets fall quiet, and families gather for prayer and large communal meals. In the evening, many villages observe the SA, a time of evening prayer when bells ring and children are expected to stop playing. Residents may pause their activities, lower their voices, or even sit still as a mark of respect. Churches also play a powerful social role, influencing education, community events, and even politics. Faith isn't just something people talk about. It's something they live by, publicly and proudly. In Samoa, belief isn't a private matter. It's a shared pillar of society, steady as the ocean and central to daily life. Fact 14, America's southernmost national park. Tucked away in the heart of the South Pacific, the National Park of American Samoa is unlike any other in the United States. It's the only U.S. national park located in the Southern Hemisphere, and it spans 3 volcanic islands, Tutuila, Ofu, and Ta'u. Unlike mainland parks with paved roads and heavy crowds, this one is remote, raw, and largely untouched. The park protects over 13,000 acres of pristine rainforest and coral reef, both on land and beneath the sea. Towering cliffs, ancient lava flows, and lush jungle canopies create a prehistoric atmosphere. Visitors can hike past traditional villages, explore coastal trails, or snorkel among vibrant coral gardens teeming with tropical fish. What makes this park even more unique is that much of the land is leased from local families. Park officials work closely with Samoan communities to protect both natural ecosystems and cultural heritage. Here, conservation isn't just about nature. It's about people, legends, and ancestral ties. It's not a park you visit on a whim. It's one you reach with intention and leave transformed by wonder. Fact 15, living without walls. Traditional Samoan houses, known as Fale, are architectural marvels of openness, simplicity, and cultural wisdom. These structures have no walls, only a rounded or oval roof made of thatch or tin, supported by wooden posts. The design allows for airflow during the intense tropical heat, eliminating the need for modern ventilation. Privacy is achieved not through drywall or glass, but by lowering roll-up woven blinds made from coconut fronds or pandanus leaves. More than just practical, the open layout of the Fale reflects a deeper philosophy: transparency, communal living, and trust. In a Samoan village, life is shared. You eat, sleep, and talk where others can see you. There's little room for secrets, but plenty for togetherness. Families often gather under the Fale to eat, hold ceremonies, tell stories, or host guests. It's where chiefs speak, prayers are said, and laughter echoes freely. In a world increasingly obsessed with fences and walls, Samoa's Fale offers a different vision. one where openness is strength and shelter doesn't have to mean isolation. Its architecture guided not just by climate, but by culture. Fact 16. Living in Samoa: costs, jobs, and practical realities. Samoa offers a slow-paced, community-centered lifestyle that appeals to travelers, retirees, and digital nomads alike. However, relocating here is not a simple leap. Foreign nationals can stay up to 60 days visa-free, but longer stays or permanent residency require either family ties, business investment, or employment sponsorship. Property ownership is highly restricted. Over 80% of land is customary, held under village-based titles, which cannot be owned outright by foreigners. Instead, long-term leases, often 99 years, are the most viable option. Living costs in Samoa are generally low compared to Western standards, but higher than some other Pacific islands due to limited local manufacturing. A modest apartment in Apia, the capital, may rent for around $500 to $750 per month, while utilities typically add another $80 to $120 monthly. Imported goods are expensive. A gallon of milk can cost up to $8, while a gallon of gasoline hovers around $5. Local produce is cheap and abundant, especially taro, bananas, and fresh fish sold at village markets. There are few formal job opportunities for foreigners unless tied to international NGOs, development agencies, or expat-run businesses. Most Samoans work in agriculture, fishing, small trade, or public service. Internet is available but not always stable outside urban areas, making online work feasible but sometimes frustrating. There is no income tax on the first $12,000 annually, and progressive rates apply beyond that, peaking around 27%. Healthcare is basic, with Apia hosting the main public hospital, but complex treatments often require evacuation to New Zealand or Australia. Relocating to Samoa means trading convenience for simplicity and individualism for community. It's not for everyone, but for those who embrace its rhythm. Life here is rich in meaning, connection, and peace. If you enjoyed discovering these incredible facts about Samoa, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Don't forget to subscribe to Andy Explores the World for more deep dives into the planet's most fascinating places. Got questions or experiences to share about island life? Drop a comment below. I read them all and love hearing from viewers around the globe. And as always, thanks for watching and being part of this journey. See you in the next one.